Hi there, welcome to Tarotland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Sagittarius energy. And like usual, we're going to do two rows. The top row I'll refer to as high vibe Sagittarius energy. The bottom row, a more worldly, shadowy Sagittarius energy. Because we all have free will and we have to make decisions in our life. And we have to debate within ourselves to make our decisions, and sometimes some people would like to move forward in life differently, but the shadowy kind of worldly energy can represent that it's kind of hard to get out of our comfort zone. We have habits and patterns, and then we have ways of living our life and people that we hang out with, and all of those things can make it challenging to kind of stand up for what we believe in and go in a different direction in our life. So some people could be struggling within themselves, but there's going to be other people that are moving forward in a new way. We heal, we grow, we mature, we expand our perception of ourselves and the world around us, overcome our fears, our insecurities, and some people will move forward in life differently than they were moving forward before. And when we move forward in life differently, there could be other people in our life who aren't going to move forward in that way, because we all heal or grow or mature or look at life differently at different times in our life. And there's always going to be people in our life who are more high vibrational. High vibe Sagittarius are people who learn lessons in life, because Sagittarius is about higher learning and education. They're motivated and inspired to shed some of their baggage. I don't like these things manipulating me. We can all have fear, insecurity, past pain, and heartbreak. We can all have our more immature, self-indulgent, maybe bossy or controlling, whatever nature. And some people don't like when they notice those things, or those type of things are kind of manipulating them and they're not moving forward in life the way they want to, and they deal with the truth of it and they work through it and they let go of some of their baggage, and then they move forward not manipulated by those things anymore, at least not to the same degree they were before. And sometimes when some people do that, some other people haven't done that, because some people aren't motivated and inspired to deal with those issues that manipulate them. And they're happy living their life the way they live it. So, to each their own, right? If you're someone who is kind of more motivated and inspired, also high vibe energies, being more independent, motivated and inspired by love versus fear or insecurity or codependency, you probably like to hang out with other people who are on that same page. And the people who aren't on that page kind of want to hang out with people who are on the same page as them. When we're at different stages of our emotional maturity level, whatever that is, if we were 15 years old, 25 years old, whatever, we're going to want to hang out with people who are kind of viewing life the way we view it. So let's go look at the bottom row first. Well, the reason for the top row's reading is the Two of Pentacles and the Three of Wands. So the Two of Pentacles can be about being more balanced within yourself. And the Three of Wands, fire sign energy, just like Sagittarius, having hope and faith and belief in your dreams. And the best way to have our dreams come into reality is being balanced within ourselves. And because otherwise we're kind of tipped out of balance. We're enabling poor behavior in ourselves, enabling poor behavior in others. And to move forward, to have our dreams come into reality, everyone needs to take responsibility for not indulging poor behavior in themselves and others. Love is supposed to be just and fair, and high vibe energy is being motivated and inspired by love, justice, fairness, character, integrity. But the bottom row's reading is, the reason why it came out is because of the Nine of Swords. And the Nine of Swords is Gemini energy, which has to do with our dualistic nature. I think the first 3-4 decades of our life, we can live more from our mind than our heart. We can be loving people, but we still have all these lessons to learn about love is supposed to be just and fair, and loving ourselves and requiring other people to act in a just and fair and loving manner. So you lived your life more, maybe a little stressed out about love. There's a maximum of 10 in every suit, and this is the 9. And we can have fear of love because we've been heartbroken before. things didn't work out the way we wanted. And so then in our more worldly nature, the Emperor is Aries energy, which so is the Three of Wands. For the first, again, 3-4 decades of our life, we keep thinking maybe that we can control the situation. And we might not be, we have an idea, and pride comes before the fall, and we're kind of caught up in these things of the world, and we have these illusions about life, and we need to learn all these lessons to see through the illusion and love ourselves and be willing to learn lessons in life. And then we harness our fiery energy in a different way. We're kind of more, we've learned these lessons, we're more balanced within ourselves. We've got more clear about what our truth is, isn't, learn to love ourselves, to be more inspired to really believe in our dreams, staying focused on truth and love, maintain balance within ourselves, be inspired to love ourselves, see through the things that manipulate us, offer peace to the past and people in their life who are where they're at, and we offer them love, but we move on being more inspired by truth and love. So let's go look at the bottom row. We have the Three of Swords, the King of Pentacles, the Six of Cups. So we all have this idea, we grow up in the world of what we think will be just and fair. And we get told by the world we should make our life about this, and we should do this, and we should do that. And if we do all those things, we will get justice in the world. The Four of Swords is Libra energy, represented by the scales of justice. And again, I think initially we can live a lot more, even though we can be a loving person, we're so influenced and caught up in these things of the world that we're sure if we go invest in these things of the world and get in these certain relationships and maybe repeat this old pattern that we've kind of been indoctrinated in by our friends and family and community, if we do things like that, we'll get justice in the world. And so we did. And we put in work and effort to give birth to these things that we wanted to give birth to in the world, the friendships, the relationships, the jobs, and we go on that journey in the Fool card to learn these lessons in life. And we're kind of repeating that pattern based on how we were brought up, how we view life, and we're kind of repeating that old pattern. And we got a lot of lessons. The Fool is going on a journey to learn lessons, and we go learn all those lessons, and we come in contact with a lot of different people to help us get more and more clear about what our truth is and what our truth isn't. But initially, when we were going on those journeys, we might have been turning our back on our more inner child nature of hope and faith and belief in our dreams, because we could have been in more codependent energy. We hadn't really learned to love ourselves, so we looked to other people in the world, like, I'm going to go get in a relationship with these people. Those people will love me, and I'll love them, and everything will work out great. But if we haven't really learned to love ourselves and be more balanced within ourselves, we can indulge poor behavior in ourselves and others. And we're going to go on this journey to learn lessons. And it's kind of like our more hopeful, believing inner child nature would like us to come together in joy and celebration, combining. We do have our mind and our truth and these things that we think are just and fair and these things we want to accomplish in the world. But equally important is being emotionally independent. The Nine of Cups can talk about that. Being of the world, but not conforming to the world. I know I'm my own unique individual who has my own unique talent, skills, and interests. And if my truth is I want to come together with people in love, because the Nine of Cups is Pisces emotional water sign energy, and I can love people, and I can want to be in friendships and relationships with people, but am I willing to stand up for myself? The Four of Wands is Aries energy again, which is about the self, and my dreams, and what I find emotionally fulfilling, or because of my more codependent nature, because I haven't maybe learned to love myself, to just think I deserve and stand up for more just and fair and balanced relationships, I kind of keep repeating some old patterns because I'm in more codependent energy versus more independent energy. And when in a more independent energy, you learn to love yourself, to give yourself the things that you wish other people would give you, to feel stable and grounded and balanced within yourself, that I want to be in relationships with other people, but I want us to both be individuals and respect each other as individuals. We come together in relationship, and the middle area is where we're working together on a common goal, like workplace, family dynamics, friendship groups. But we should respect that each person is their own individual. And shadowy energy can be where, instead of being more truthful and honest and just and fair, people can try to manipulate us to keep us in our more fearful, insecure, codependent energy, because they maybe don't like being in relationships with people who are more independent, because they're not more independent. They haven't learned to love themselves either, to work through some of the issues that manipulate them, to stand up for themselves and give themselves the things that they need to feel stable and grounded and loved within themselves so that they can be a more independent person working together with other people. And so you go through those type of relationships and life experiences, and then you could kind of be stressed out because people could kind of do hurtful, unkind things in the Three of Swords, and people can kind of be more about themselves or bossy or controlling, and or the truth is some of them are more about money and materialism and status or image. But also the Ten of Pentacles can talk about being unbudging. We're meant to be a student of life. We're meant to shed old layers of ourself. Kind of like the nesting dolls over there. We live life at 15. We're getting closer to being like a 18-year-old. We look at the more immature ways of viewing life and how we've been living, to face our fears, to believe, wait a minute, I want to grow to my full potential. I need to work through some of these issues that manipulate me, see the truth of it, offer love to it, let it go, and then I become more like an 18-year-old. And then we do the same process at 21, 25, 30, 35. But the Ten of Pentacles can kind of be unbudging. You'd have to be willing to be a student of life, which is like the Page of Pentacles. I'm willing to learn more lessons. You know, the end-all be-all wasn't being 15 and I want to live my life like a 15-year-old all my life. You know? Well, some people, though, they might have done some of those normal things that we did when we were young. Oh, I got to go get a job. Oh, I got to go move out. Oh, I got to learn how to pay my own bills. You know, all these things that are part of the process of living life. Some people had the idea, though, they had a way of wanting to live life, and they could be unbudging in it. I'm not willing to look at anything within that foundation that maybe I have seen doesn't really work out for my best benefit. But if that means they'd have to see a truth about themselves, well, that's when the problem comes in. You know, am I being immature? Am I being bossy or controlling or selfish or egotistical or lazy or self-centered? Well, we have to be willing to see the truth of our foundation. And we need to see what needs to go. What are the good building blocks that we can take with us to the next stage of life, like we did age 15, 18, 21, 25, and which things need to go. But there's some people, they do not want to see the truth about themselves. And they want to keep moving forward the way they've been moving forward. So it can be inflexible, unbudging. And that's when other people get in relationships with them and they're kind of confused. Why aren't they willing to detach from some of these ways of being that aren't conducive to love and growing and healing and maturing themselves and being inspired by love? And that's when we kind of see the truth of their foundation, that some people have these illusions about what it means to be in a relationship. they are kind of immature or codependent, and they want you to be more immature in some way in your more worldly viewpoint of life and be in a codependent relationship with them also. And keep kind of indulging yourself that way because that's how they live their life. Or some people are all about themselves, inflexible, unwilling, to learn lessons in life. You have to get out of your ego. And some people are very egotistical, stubborn, prideful, immature, bossy, controlling, whatever they are, and they don't want to see the truth of it. And so if you're going to move forward with them, you have to be willing. They indulge themselves in this poor behavior, and you need to indulge them in that poor behavior. And eventually, with some people in our life, it's like our truth is different. Kind of what drives and motivates us is different. I'm inspired by truth and love and, working through my emotional confusion, offering myself love, offering love to the situation so I can see what I need to detach from and maybe distance myself from, and how I can grow and mature myself and heal. And other people's opinion is exactly the opposite, Some people are willing to listen to their intuition in love, and other people, shadowy would be, I hide from love. We're either willing to deal with the truth that is supposed to be about love, treating other people the way we like to be treated, being just and fair, or we don't want to see the truth of it, that we should maybe grow up and mature ourselves. And some people are like, nope, I'm not going to do it. And that's okay. Everybody has the free will to live their life whatever way they want. But we need to see the truth of it. The Four of Swords can be that, up here we have the Nine of Pentacles, which can be being single. And we want to move forward in these ways in life, these things that we want in our life that we view as victorious. But we could kind of feel stuck and in the Eight of Swords kind of up in our head. And then we can meet other people and we're inspired to move forward with them, thinking we're going to bring a dream into reality. But this is also the reason why the reading for the high vibe people came up. They could get in a relationship with someone who they don't realize tries to present themselves as more high vibrational. Oh no, I'm balanced within myself. I'm not tipped out of balance. I'm not more about myself or in my fear or in my insecurity or codependency or ego. No, I'm just like you. I have hope and faith and belief and love. And you get in a relationship with them. But then as time goes by and you're putting in work and effort in a relationship, the other person could keep, they're kind of turn their back on being more authentic and more independent from their shadowy nature, immature nature, self-interest nature, materialistic ego nature, whatever it is. And they keep kind of repeating this old pattern. And then you feel stuck in the relationship and you're kind of up in your head about it. It's like, wait a minute, I thought we were going to bring this dream into reality. And then out here we have the 2 or 3 ships out there. So the water realm in tarot can represent the emotional, intuitive dream realm, the things and wishes and dreams that we want to bring those ships into reality, land them into reality, bring it into the 3D. Well, some people are still juggling how they want that to look. You might want love, they might want it to be more about ego and image and money and materialism, or more about them. Or they can't decide and they haven't really picked a path and they're still going back and forth. But as you're in the workplace, friendship, or relationship, you do notice that maybe when some people have some issues to work through, where the hangman talks about, we come to points in workplace friendships and relationships where, we have these issues to overcome about seeing things from other people's perspective, working through kind of our fears and insecurities about love, because and listening to our intuition, because again, there's a maximum of 10 in every suit. So we're trying to move forward to have this new beginning, but we have to work through these issues. And the last two swords is Libra energy of what we think is just and fair. The Four of Swords is Libra energy too. And it's kind of like, what is my truth? Do I want to listen to my intuition? Do I want to try to see things from other perspectives? We're all had our ideas of how we thought our life was going to play out and what we thought was going to be like a stable, grounded, enjoyable, fulfilling life. Well, so did other people that we get in relationships with. Some of those people could have thought, whatever, we were going to do this every Friday for the rest of our life. And other people were like, well, no, I thought we were going to do this every Friday for the rest of our life. That would be kind of more fixed. I want to do things the way I've always done it. Are we willing to compromise with each other? Are we willing to negotiate those things? And are we inspired in Sagittarius energy to, it doesn't have to be all my way. It doesn't have to be all your way. Because we both had our ideas of how our dreams, what we thought it was going to look like. Are we willing to negotiate with each other and still maintain balance in the relationship where one person isn't thinking it should be more their way versus your way? And we compromise on it. But some people could really have a much harder time being more flexible to try to see things from other people's perspectives. They might get kind of stuck up in their head where they get caught up in their fears or their insecurities, and then that can cloud their judgment, and they're not listening to their intuition, which is what the Two of Swords talks about. But also it might get down to that, what is my truth versus what is your truth? What drives and motivates me? What drives and motivates you? Is my truth the same as your truth? Is this really how I want to live my life? Are we on the same page? Are we not? Maybe I'm kind of juggling. I don't know. So then everybody could kind of do this work within themselves to figure out, what kind of emotionally, what they want to invest their time and energy and effort into. And the Empress, the feminine figures, can represent how we think and feel. And the Empress is Libra Taurus energy. And we all tap into Libra Taurus energy. We all have our ideas of what we want to give birth to next, which is what the Empress talks about. And in our Libra Taurus energy, again, Libra, what do we think is just and fair in however we rationalize life? And Taurus energy has to do with our philosophy of life. Am I kind of more about me or money and materialism and status and image or indulgence? Or am I, high vibe Taurus, willing to walk the talk and be just and fair and be truthful, be honest, be loving, treat other people the way I like to be treated? Or am I kind of emotionally a little bit more about myself? And sometimes we can be in friendships and relationships and we find out that they're kind of a little bit more about themselves or ego or image or indulgence or money or materialism. And then we feel heartbroken because someone decided to align with their more worldly nature, shadowy Virgo energy, versus investing in their more high vibrational Virgo energy, which is working through those issues that make us feel stuck, get us up in our head, get us up in our fears and our insecurities or our more worldly nature. And are we willing to take inspired action? The Six of Wands is Leo energy. Am I willing to take inspired action in my Sagittarius energy, kind of also, to want to work through those things? I don't like feeling stuck and I don't like feeling up in my head. I don't like being in jobs, friendships, and relationships where I'm kind of indulging. Some people are showing that they're not willing to maybe speak the truth. be more independent, might defend kind of indulging themselves, think it should be more about them, that, and that's when you can feel heartbroken, that you could feel like some people in your life know that you love them, friends, family members, romantic interests, but you feel like they use the love that you have for them to try to manipulate you, to make you keep repeating some old pattern. It's like, I thought we were going to move forward. I thought we were going to work through the fears and the insecurities and those things, each of us within ourselves, to be more emotionally independent. And some of the people you could have been in relationship with in your life, they're just still codependent on other people or the world. They could be more codependent on their original family or a friend group, where if those people don't move forward in this way, then I don't want to move forward in that way. And that's when you kind of realize that is the primary foundation in their life that they operate from, that they look to maybe for their sense of stability or security, emotional balance or something, and they're just not more independent to live their more authentic life. And if some of those people say, you should live your life like this, we're not going to move forward like that, we're not going to go do that, then they're not willing to go do that or live their life that way. And others of you are more independent. Why should I have to live my life the way everybody else lives their life? I'm my own unique person. But that can, and some people, it's kind of the world and all these rules you should live by. You should live your life like this. And it's all these unwritten rules, but things that they've kind of picked up from people in their life, that, you act like this, you dress like this, you talk to these people, hang out with those people, don't talk to those people, don't hang out with those people. You only go there if these other people go there. If they don't go there, then you're there with those other people. And then you kind of seem like, it's all this bullshit. But some people, shadowy Libra, Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, in shadowy energy, it's all about trying to create this illusion about what type of person you are, so that people view you a certain way, so you have a certain status or image, and other people just want to go live their authentic life. How about I treat people with love and respect in the way I like to be treated, and I just go live my authentic life, and I can talk to those people or these people, and I can hang out here and I can hang out there, because I am a balanced person. I'm not acting out of immaturity and lust and greed. I'm just living my authentic life, and I don't think if I wear this or talk to these people, that I'm so much more than what I wear, what I drive, how much money I have, who I hang out with, But some people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you went and did that activity. People like us don't do that type of activity. Or, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're wearing, we look at all the different people and the dress codes that some people have to adhere to. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, you're not trying to operate from ego, be in the spotlight, just living your authentic life. But there's a lot of judgmental people in the world. And some people make their life all about those things is more important to them. So that's where it's like looking to the world to kind of validate their worth and value, versus them in high vibe Nine of Pentacles, in high vibe Virgo, knowing their worth and value, loving themselves, being more independent in the world. You know what? I'm going to go out in the world and just be more authentically myself. I'm operating from a foundation of love. I'm treating other people the way I like to be treated, being loving and encouraging. And I offer encouragement to other people that I know in the world who might feel stuck and up in a mental prison. And that's what I do within myself, so that I can keep moving forward, looking at life as an adventure to be lived. I have all sorts of lessons to learn. When I move forward in life differently, just like we did 15, 18, 21 to 25, it's scary. We do get caught up in our head because we're like, and it's just the same way, if you remember back when you had your first job, how scary it was to maybe go get a second job and quit that job. It's like, oh my gosh, you know. Well, the more you get some more life experience, you're able to more flow with the world, because you know that people work together with you to try to make things work out and work together with you if you go get a new job, you know. But anyway, it can be really scary. And for some people, they would like to be more independent and move forward in life differently, but then they always get stuck here, you know, and then they revert to doing things the way they had done it. They don't ever work through the issues that block them, and they might not listen more to their intuition, and they get caught up in their fear and their insecurity. And then, you know, there's that high vibe nature within themselves, their more hopeful, believing inner child nature that would like them to get out of their head and listen to their intuition and be more bold and brave and confident. But they keep kind of giving in to, no, I got to do things like this, and I'm going to work with things of the world. I got to do maybe what's logical and practical, and align with these people. You know, the process of becoming more independent in the world and being more authentically yourself is a process, and some people aren't there yet, and they may never get there yet. And though we have people in our life that we would have liked to, you know, we just can't keep living our life with some people who, what kind of motivates and inspires them and how they keep wanting to live their life and in their free will, we see that it's different, and we want to move forward in life differently, being more independent, not having these things manipulate us. And as long as those things still manipulate them, if we're in a relationship with, it keeps us stuck and kind of having to keep doing that old pattern over and over. And eventually the pages can be like, not a harsh message. It can just be, you know, I see how you want to live your life, and I see that I might see what manipulates you and controls you and restricts you and imprisons you, but you might not see it. And I can't make other people see the truth if they want to stay in denial of the truth. You know, if we're ready to handle the truth and we're ready to be more independent, we would be. So then the Page of Swords is like wishing people peace. But I am going to become independent of you, even though I have my fears, and even though I could be heartbroken. My truth is my foundation. Also, in the Seven of Cups, in Scorpio energy, I want a more deep, meaningful relationship, and I can only be in relationships with people who are more independent of their ego defensive nature, who are inspired to work through those things that instill fear and insecurity in them, to go on this adventure with me, letting love and intuition guide them. And if that's not where you're at, then I wish you peace, and I'm going to move on. And I'm going to go communicate with people in the world who I do think aren't repeating this old pattern, who've picked up their investment in viewing life that way, who are maintaining balance within themselves, who are inspired to have hope and faith and belief in their dreams, who have freed themselves from these things that kind of manipulate and control them, and people in their life that aren't on the same page as them. And those are the people I'm going to move forward with. And when you do that, the other people could be heartbroken. They could be confused, you know, by worldly standards with the King of Pentacles, the Eight of Pentacles, the Empress. You know, this all looked really like a great job, a good friend group, a good romantic relationship. It had a lot of status maybe, or image, or money, or materialism. And they don't get kind of why you wouldn't keep investing in that. Because that, whatever it is they indulge in or make their life about, and it could just be, you know, status and ego and image is more important than love. That's the illusion they're caught up in. That's what's really important in their life. And they don't understand people who are more independent, more inspired to make their life about more than those things, because they might think, what is there? you know, but high vibe energy is that there's a higher truth and justice to aspire to, and it is about freeing yourself from these things that manipulate you and try to limit you and restrict you and imprison you in your more ego nature. And they could be all about their ego. It's like, I don't get it. And it's like, yes, and you maybe never will. So they're going to keep repeating this pattern, trying to find other people. And some of them are just more codependent and not more independent. And then when you become more independent and work through your issues in a friendship or romantic relationship, you're not the same person you were before. They then kind of don't want to be in a relationship with you anymore because you've changed. They're still liking more codependent relationships. And just people who view life maybe the way they view it, or like to indulge in what they indulge in, or whatever, you know? We've all lived life at a phase of life. And sometimes some people are ready to move forward in life when we're not ready to move forward. Sometimes we're ready to look at life differently when other people aren't. And the page in High Vibe is, I wish you peace, but I don't find that emotionally fulfilling. I have come to realize, yes, do I want stability and security and be in relationships? Yeah. But am I going to stay in relationships with people who I think live more from their mind than their heart? Who might be more about wanting to be in a relationship just out of codependency or fear or pain or heartbreak? No, I want to be in relationships with people who want to do love. I don't want to be in a relationship out of my emotional confusion or my fear or my insecurity, and I don't want other people to be in a relationship with me for those reasons. So I wish you peace, but I'm going to go invest in people who in their fire sign energy are more, no longer is themselves or the ego or money and materialism the driving factor in their life. Love is what makes it all worthwhile. I'm going to go find a job that I really love. This one might have money and materialism. Might be a lot of reasons why I'd like to stay, but money isn't everything. I want to work with people and work in something that I really enjoy. And hopefully other people who are inspired by that, you know? And it's great to be around them because they're authentic, loving, encouraging, independent, not operating from their ego. And we can all get along and work together and be supportive, encouraging people to encourage everyone to grow to their full potential. Shadowy energy can be more competitive in your ego. Well, I don't want those people to do well. I don't want to work together cooperatively with those people. I don't want people to see them as kind of victorious and successful in their own way. So then people might try to stop other people from moving forward with people like that because it's competitive, kind of jealous energy. Well, that person seems more authentic and more loving and more authentic. I don't like them. I'm going to try to convince these other people to align with me and maybe live more from their mind and their heart and want to be in a relationship with me or stay in a relationship with me, but more because of my money or my image or my looks or my social clout or something, you know. Don't move forward with the authentic, loving, inspiring people. You know, we have our dualistic nature. We have the free will choice of what kind of people we hang out with in our life. And if some people are more about something kind of worldly or shadowy, they don't want to move forward in life that way. And then they can have other people in their life, friends and family members, that they try to get them up in their head. Like if they see those people moving forward in a high vibe way, it's like, oh my gosh, those people are becoming more independent. I need to go talk to them. I'm going to try to use the love that they have for me to instill fear and insecurity in them about moving forward in that way. You shouldn't go take that other job. You shouldn't move to a different town. You shouldn't go to college. You shouldn't hang out with those people. Because it probably would bother them if some of the people in their life were to go step out of their comfort zone and go live the life of their dreams. Well, that'd be annoying because then I'm back here doing this. I want you to stay back here and do this too. Then it won't bother me. Let those other people go do that. That's not who we are. You should stay here and do this. turn your back on the people. Turn your back on your own more independent, authentic, inspired, loving nature. And turn your back on those people in your life who are like that. No, stay up in your head, stay in your ego, stay in your fear. We'll keep doing life like this, and we'll just create the illusion that we're these more authentic, loving, just fair people in the world, but really we operate more from our ego and our fear and our insecurity and our lust and our greed and our codependency. And some people, people have to make choices in life. And we saw the truth that some people weren't willing to be more independent, that they keep being manipulated by themselves or the world, other people. And we were enlightened to the truth. And even though we had fear, we were inspired to keep believing in ourselves and to keep moving forward in our life. So what's coming up for some people who harness some high vibe Sagittarius energy? Well, I think as you keep maintaining balance within yourself, loving yourself, believing in yourself, giving yourself the things you wish other people would have given you, not letting people who are immature or bossy or controlling or materialistic or whatever drive your life off into the ditch. I'm going to keep putting in the work and effort to maintain balance within yourself, to love myself. That's like high vibe Leo. And I'm going to keep moving forward, believing in my dreams and communicating with people in my life that I meet who I think are on the same page as me. Those are the people I'm going to invest my time, energy, and effort into. What's coming up for those people that they might not see coming? The Queen of Cups in reverse because of the Queen of Swords. So I view the Queen of Cups, well, you could have been someone who is a very loving, giving person, and you can still be a very loving, giving person, but we have to deal with the truth. And again, the truth is, love is supposed to be just and fair. And there can be people we love, but maybe they're not very just and fair. So we have to see the truth of it. And I also view the Queen of Cups is Scorpio energy. I view it as Scorpio energy, like the Seven of Cups here is Scorpio energy, which is a fixed sign energy, which can kind of tempt us to repeat these old patterns. And it's like, I invested in that way of viewing life, and it didn't ever move forward the way I wanted it to move forward. So though there could be people in my life, ways of living life that emotionally I have love for, I can't, just let my heart run my life. Because high vibe Four of Wands is firing on all four cylinders, and being balanced. We have a dream in our more worldly, more codependent, immature nature. We also have a dream in the Two of Wands about being more independent and live a more emotionally fulfilling life, independent life. And I need to see the truth that all aspects of myself are equally important and have to be respected. I can have love for people, but I can't let the love that I have for people drive my life off into the ditch. There has to be balance. My truth is important. Justice and fairness is important. Being stable and grounded is important. Being authentic and inspired and loving is important. All those things equally are important. And previously we could have had to learn some lessons because we love people. Oh my gosh, I love them. It was kind of tipping us out of balance, and we were indulging people in poor behavior. And looking at life from a higher perspective in the Queen of Swords, I have a dream. And my dream is not coming into reality here. And though I can have love for people, when they keep making their life more about themselves or the world or these things they like to indulge in, I'm not going to keep emotionally investing in them, because I do have a dream and I've seen the truth that they're not working together with me in a just and fair and balanced way, inspired by truth and love. And because you looked at life from a higher perspective and keep things in perspective instead of getting up in your fear and your insecurities, you don't keep indulging, repeating this poor pattern. And you could see some other people repeating kind of a pattern that isn't really moving their life forward either. But you have a dream. And you realize you need to pick up your investment in that old way of thinking or living life. Some friendships, some jobs, some relationships, if you wanted your dream to come into reality, because it was not coming into reality here. And so I think there's some people, you could treat them in a high vibe manner. You treat people cordially, maybe, but no longer emotionally investing in certain people because you have seen what their truth is, and it's different than your truth. So, hey, you go live your life the way you want. Apparently, you're not someone I can have that deep kind of meaningful relationship with, because you might be more caught up in the illusion, more about being in a more superficial, shallow relationship, and that could be your comfort zone. But I do want a relationship where it is a more deep, meaningful relationship. And you could see they're more caught up in these other things. So what's coming up for some, and I think as you move forward in that energy, you're inspiring other people in your life to quit letting people use the love that they have for them to manipulate them. That's not love. And to keep life in perspective and love and believe in themselves. And as you're doing that, I think there's other people that are inspired by you, that have learned those same lessons as you have, and want to work with you and balance things out with you if they're people you already know. And you'll just listen to your intuition about anybody from your past coming towards you. Some people could come towards you because they feel stuck and they're in a mental prison. There could be someone they want to be in a relationship with, but that person isn't maybe working with them, or they're going to try to get that person up in a mental prison by using you as a pawn to manipulate someone else to get them to do what they want. Other people are authentic. They have been enlightened. They're just kind of fearful and working through their fear about communicating with you. And you'll just listen to your intuition about who's being authentic, who's been enlightened to the truth, who seems balanced within themselves, and who seems to, that your intuition tells you they haven't been enlightened to the truth. They either just want to be the next person to indulge in a relationship with me, or because something else didn't work out, they want to be in a relationship with me. It's like, no, I'm not going to get in a relationship or stay in and whatever. If it's not based on truth and love, go find someone else. And some people who would like to be in a relationship with you are kind of in a mental prison because you keep moving forward and they keep repeating these old patterns. So they're not doing the work within themselves to work through their fear or their insecurity or their immature, indulgent, entitled nature or something. And while they keep doing that, maybe hoping you'd feel stuck and up in a mental prison, and instead of moving forward, you'd come back and make an offer to get back in a relationship with them. But you keep moving forward, and they're like, shit, it's not working. I'm not able to manipulate them. They're not coming back to do the relationship the way I wanted them to do it. It's like, no, you're going to have to go find someone else to do the relationship that way with you, because I've already been there and done that, and I found it heartbreaking, emotionally shallow, and superficial, so I'm moving on. What's coming up for the people who are in some more shadowy Sagittarius energy that they don't see coming? The Three of Pentacles and the Truth. Some of the people that you've dealt with and other people that are kind of being somehow shadowy in a workplace, friendship, or romantic relationship, they're always going to have some high vibe people in their life that have been trying to love and encourage them to get more balanced and quit being kind of immature in some way. And eventually, high vibe people in their life who are operating from truth and love eventually see this as dead. There is no new beginning coming because these people don't want to deal with the truth. And other people see nothing changes here. It's dead energy. They were hoping things would transform, is what the Death card can talk about. The other people want to transform a relationship. They're not the same person they were. They want these people to deal with some of their issues to move forward with them. And they see the truth. These people are not willing to change. And we come to a place of, I just see the truth. They are where they're at. They view life the way they view it. They want to live their life that way. I've kind of come to a place of peace about it. I offer myself a cup of love to not be in my ego about it so that I could move on. And some of those people who are acting that way are having some more high vibe people leave their life. Other people who harness high vibe Capricorn who did the work, because shadowy Capricorn is represented by the devil, who did the work within themselves to align with truth and love, they've changed. But then they could have been drawn and attracted to someone thinking this person was on the same page as them, and eventually they see the truth, they're not. They don't want to do more deep, meaningful relationships. They don't want to shed any old ways of being to move forward in life differently. And so they wish them peace and they move on. And some of these people then will go to find someone else who's on the same page as them. And the other people will move on. And if they keep acting this way, where their truth is in a more worldly Capricorn energy, their truth is, I don't want to do deep, meaningful relationships. I get hurt. I'm not inspired by love. I'm more inspired by me, or indulging myself, or making my life about these things of the world. They're going to have other people who want to be in a relationship with them who kind of view life the same way. I don't want to change. I don't believe in any higher truth. I think life's about what the world tells us. I'll wear that. I'll dress like that. I'll talk about that. I'll hang out with people like that. So long as it gets me the money and the status and the ego and the image I want, yeah, I'll indulge you in a relationship. And in turn, will you indulge me in my kind of maybe more immature ways and entitled ways, or bossy or controlling ways, or materialistic ways? Perfect. Let's stay in a relationship. And they will move forward in a relationship that by worldly standards looks like it's based on the truth and love, but it's not. It's driven by something other than love. The other people are moving forward in love because they've seen the truth. And they're not getting in relationships more because of the ego or the image or the codependency. So there you go, Sagittarius energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.